You know what? You know what I think? You know what I actually think? I think the vast majority of superheroes are bi.
Sure, okay.
Some of them may have not realized it. Some of them, we haven't been told those stories because that's not the stories that we're reading about. You know?
Yeah, it's just a story somebody hasn't told yet.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
This episode is dedicated to my sister Susan, who basically just did the Brower equivalent of Hold My Beer in regards to my leg injury of last year.
Get well soon, Susan.
This is the point of the year, and of this year, specifically this year, not the year in general, but this year, where I think I'm literally at my most stressed.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I'm wound so tight, I'm ready to snap.
Yeah.
And it could go in any direction.
Yeah, the week before Free Comic Book Day any year is usually the one where it's like the most exhausting and things are the most tense and frayed. And then we just kind of ratcheted things up a level this year by trying to get a bunch of store maintenance and store improvements done right before Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, well, a lot of it wasn't the timing wasn't necessarily our fault.
No. But in general, these things always end up taking longer or getting rescheduled. And in some ways, we should be prepared for that. Just to mention a non-Free Comic Book Day version of that, Managed Comics sent out an email today saying that they got approved by Shopify. But basically, it's going to be anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks before,
they're ready.
People who are not on their very small, essentially beta test waitlist can get access to the app and switch over. They're doing 6 people, 6 stores, and then 1 to 2 weeks later they'll do another group of 6 stores, and then 1 to 2 weeks after that it'll be anyone can pick it up. That's assuming they keep to those timelines, which again,
sure,
as we're mentioning, this is August 13th, 2 days after it was originally scheduled to go live, but then they had some problems with Shopify and things took a little longer to roll out. So what we had thought would maybe be second half of August after Free Comic Book Day will switch over is now
second half of September, maybe.
Maybe. So yeah, I mean, always our difficulty sometimes is getting very excited about something and having a very ambitious timeline for it, and then things out of our control make that timeline go from very ambitious to completely impossible.
Well, the challenger's way, and let's be honest, is one of us will come up with an idea. Mm-hmm. The other will get excited and we'll say, okay, we'll do this at this point in the future. Mm-hmm. And then we can't stop thinking about it, so we do it immediately.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Yeah, and I mean, some of it, at least for the Free Comic Book Day stuff, was with the thought that it would be nice for all the people who are going to come to Free Comic Book Day who maybe don't come to Challengers any other day of the year to see us at our absolute best. To see brand new carpeting, to see new window signs, to see new T-shirts and all that sort of stuff.
Right.
So that timeline was not us getting too excited. It was us saying, oh, this would be the great time to debut all that stuff. And then, unfortunately, again, things just sort of out of our control and things got pushed back until all of a sudden it's oh, we'll have to do the carpeting the week before Free Comic Book Day.
The week of Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, in that 7-day period. And then, the windows won't be done until, 2 days after Free Comic Book Day. That's just how things shook out this time.
Oh, speaking of windows, there's so much more you don't know.
Cool, very
Anyway,
exciting.
I guess I was going to save Free Comic Book Day till later, but I'll start because it's what I worked on literally all day.
I assume.
And the things that you said about wanting to put your best foot forward is something that we'd always hope for, but at the same time, A, the store is going to be so full people can't see it.
True.
B, the majority of the people that show up don't shop with us during the year.
Sure.
So don't even know what the store looks like normally.
Yep.
Or, parenthetical B to that one, don't care.
Yeah. And 3,
Go on.
We've rearranged a huge chunk of the store to make room for Free Comic Book Day.
So it's very different. And
all that stuff.
Literally, like this morning, we open and have 2 unrelated, massive families come in at once.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, we have 13 people in the store right now. We can't do anything.
Right.
Then we can finally start working on sidekicks.
I like the 13 people in the store, you can't do anything thing, because that is like the ultimate expression of what is rule number 1.
You don't know.
Because, like, at this point, you could work on literally anything to get started. They're everywhere.
Yeah. Also, rule number 1 was at play all day.
Sure.
There's even, and I had Andrew and Gina all day, and I'm like, Andrew, why are you going through the back hallway? Come in the back door. He's like, there's someone looking at the figures right there. I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Yeah. For those who don't know, rule number 1 at Challengers is wherever we need to work, that's where someone needs to be.
The exact second. You have to file a book in the H section, someone needs to look at Hulk.
Yeah. If there's one customer in the store and you need to go to the horror section, that customer is going to be in the horror section. And you're going to have to wait for that to be done. And that's constant, and in this case, it is omnipresent. Like, but because Patrick needed to work on all of the store, that's where customers were.
But also,
in all of the
that
stores.
same person, if you're like, fine, I don't need to be in the horror section, I'll just go do this instead, when you change your tact, so do they, and they go right where you're going.
Yeah.
They don't know where you're going.
It's pretty amazing.
But they know where you're going.
Yeah. It's the universe. It's just the universe.
And then, so we had, like, the second I put the stanchion up, once we'd built everything and started putting the books on the shelves, that's when a mom and a young kid come in and just go, oh. Like, well, good news, all those books are down at the other end of the store.
Yeah.
Not everything, because you could, well, there's still everything around, like, too bad.
Yeah.
We didn't close it off until 4 o'clock, so...
For 1 hour, that stuff is going to be inaccessible. I'm sorry that's the hour somebody came in, but Free Comic Book Day, we got to work on the store. I'm sorry. Sometimes it happens.
So here's little things that don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know those 2 green knives that we bought this week?
Yes.
They were both missing.
Weird.
Found one of them just on a random shelf.
Uh-huh.
Still never found the second one.
Huh.
That one that was on the random shelf was also with the price gun.
Oh, so I assume it was Kent was using it.
Well, yeah, it was when they were pricing the boards that came in yesterday.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, where's the other knife? I don't know. Don't know.
Glad we bought
brand
two.
new. Yeah, exactly. This is so. The closer we get to Free Comic Book Day, the more questions people have, and the more annoying the questions are.
Sort of, yeah.
And I really want, and I don't know that we'll do this. I feel like next Free Comic Book Day, we have 0 creators in.
Huh. Okay. Why?
Because it's a point where people expect it now.
Sure.
And they just call up saying, what time are they sketching? It's not about sketching. It's about free comics. It's about comics. Like, these people donate their time, and the fact that people just expect they're going to come in and get free sketches,
I guess.
I don't like that.
I mean,
It's one thing if you and I are doing the sketching, but we're not. We don't have control over that.
No.
And I constantly hate having to ask people, hey, this thing that you do that you get paid for, do it for us for free all day, to people that don't care. And expect it.
I guess. I mean, my counterpoint would maybe be that people are excited about it. I mean, they could definitely be more appreciative of it, but there's people who... This is the thing that we do all the time, and we do it constantly, and we do it... We were just talking about it, I think, in the last episode in regards to, people pre-ordering books after FOC or in the week before release. It's infuriating, and it makes us want to completely upend our subscription management system, but at the same time, it's like 6 people. Like, it's the same 6 people all the time, but, like, there's 95% of our subscription service that would never do that and is not the problem. And I feel like, yeah, it's incredibly frustrating to have inconsiderate people show up and ruin an aspect of Free Comic Book Day, and it makes you want to not do that part. But, I mean, we give away free comics, and we're going to have at least 2 people during the day who are going to try and take way too many, or ask their kids to take books.
Yeah, of course.
Because the kids don't have any interest in. And it's not like we're going to stop carrying free comics on Free Comic Book Day. So, like, I always hate saying it this way because I am the worst at not following this advice. It's just part of the process. I mean, you open your doors to a few hundred people, there's going to be some that are going to ruin it. They just
I know,
are.
but
they just
like I just said, all those things you mentioned are in our control and things that we do. We're not drawing. If we were the people sitting behind the table, whole different story.
I guess. I mean, I don't feel like the people behind the table are that aware of what's going on beforehand. Like, basically, if you're an artist who's sketching at Challengers, you show up, 5 or 10 minutes before you're supposed to be there. You set your stuff down. You get a bottle of water or a soda. You sit down. People come up to the table. Hi, can you draw me a Captain America? Boom, boom, boom. And you just keep doing that. And hopefully, if you're a name artist or if you're someone who has some books, they can go, oh, I really like your other stuff. Or, oh, I'll pick up your graphic novel that you've got here. Whatever. They don't know, and I don't think can anticipate the people who are just, like, being jerks about it, unless that person is demonstrably a jerk right there at their table, and we can control. We can absolutely be like, hey, that you already got a sketch, don't worry about it.
How can we control that? You're behind the counter, I'm in the other room.
I mean, the store. I don't mean you or I specifically, but that's a thing that we've always told people who are in charge of or responsible for the artist area is these are the rules, these are the limits. If you see someone breaking it, move them along. And we've always tried to come up with little ways that we can try and get in front of that and
it never
alleviate
works.
that. It never works because solving it always creates some other problem or whatever. Which at this point, that's why we're just down to, hey, if you see someone taking advantage, ask them not to do that.
Yeah.
Very few people at a Free Comic Book Day are going to cause a scene to get more free stuff. I think they know how tenuous our ability to give them free stuff is. That we can retract it or rescind it at nearly any time. So, yeah, I mean, some people are going to be jerks about it, and some people are going to come to an event like Free Comic Book Day with basically what is free? What can I get for free? Give me every single free thing I can get, whether that's a photo with a cosplayer, the maximum number of comic books for every person in my party, the maximum number of sketches for every person in my party, bookmarks and flyers and whatever. Like, that's always going to happen. It's happened every year, man. I've worked Free Comic Book Day since the first Free Comic Book Day, and every single one you've had someone who does that. Doesn't mean we should stop doing Free Comic Book Day. Infuriating. I hate that person. But, like, I don't know. Most people don't do that, and that's nice. It's nice that a lot of people seem to be appreciative of the idea of Free Comic Book Day, even if they don't know all the nuts and bolts. Someone just this week had asked, so the publishers, the Free Comic Book Day, they just send you all of those? You get all of them? They just send you all of them? And we have to go, no, we buy them. Like, that's a thing that people on a regular basis do not have an awareness of. Is that the stores that carry Free Comic Book Day comics and give them away pay for every single one of those. Like, that's not just like a drop shipment from Free Comic Book Day headquarters, a pallet of free books to hand out. No, we buy those. So that's why we don't carry every one, because we have to pay for every single book we give away. So we pick and choose based on what our store normally stocks and what we're going to be carrying in the future and how much other stuff we're giving away and how many people we expect to show up and the maximum number of books each person can take and all that sort of stuff.
I'm worried that we are not prepared for how many people show up because we ordered conservatively because it's a pandemic, and I don't think anybody...
We had some from last year, though, still.
Yeah. I don't think we have... I don't think people have the pandemic mindset.
Probably not as much in Chicago.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like... As always, I'd rather err on the side of, I don't know, we ran out of stuff this year. It was a pandemic. We guessed wrong. Rather than like, oh my God, we're putting 16 more boxes of stuff in the back for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I mean, I hope we guessed correctly and no one has to go without. And anyone who shows up later in the day can still have a good selection of books to choose from. But if we run out, we run out. We've always told people, if there's something specific you're looking for, we recommend getting there early. Things will run out. Things always do.
Yep.
That said, we do have a lot of, like, Batman and Avengers and Spider-Man. So if you want those, we'll probably still have those later in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. We ordered less of those than we normally do for those books.
I suppose,
so
yeah.
We'll see.
But not, I mean...
Not a ton less.
Not an order of magnitude less,
Right. But we didn't order to the full extent of if it were a regular...
Yeah, and I mean...
But also, the closest store to us is not participating.
Yeah.
So that means we might get a lot more foot traffic.
Maybe. There's times where obviously we're kicking ourselves because we, guessed wrong, we underestimated demand for something. But, I mean, a rescheduled Free Comic Book Day during a pandemic year, I mean, as long as it goes safely, that's all I care about. Like, that's the limit of what I can control at this point.
The point of this day is to celebrate comics. And that's what people coming out are doing.
Comics are real good, man.
It's just the comics industry is dog shit. But no, it's just the stress levels involving it. And
Yeah.
sure, most years go off without a hitch. Fine. Gina had the line of the day where she said she can't wait for Andrew to experience you and I on Free Comic Book Day because he has no idea what he's getting in for.
Oh, I don't...
All that says, Dal,
Yeah.
is that that's how we are perceived by the people that work with us.
No, I guess, I mean, if I can drill into that a little bit, because I hadn't realized that you or I had a specific perception from the people who work with us on Free Comic Book Day, for Free Comic Book Day. Like, I always try to be as chill about it as possible, very, like, friendly and outgoing, very, like, you know, people come to the register, hey, thanks for coming out today, you know, efficient, but, like, generous. And, like, with the people around, I'm behind the register for the entire thing, so a lot of it is, I'm not doing as much management because I'm just trying to be, like, a good final experience the customers have before they leave the store. You usually have to do a lot more, like, fire putting out of, where it's like, I'm in this, you know, I'm behind the counter and you're everywhere else in the store. You're in the room with the comics, making sure that everyone's, you know, adhering to the rules. You're outside, making sure the people walking the line have the right information to give out and whatever other stuff we might be giving out for the year. You're with the cosplayers, making sure they're taken care of. You're with the artists, making sure they're taken care of. You're with people in the back of the store, making sure the lines are going correctly. So, like, I assume that you are a lot more curt and stern.
Curt is exactly the word I would use.
Because, I mean, I'm sure I'm that as well, where you don't have a lot of time to... I don't want to be mean about the way I'm saying this, but hold someone's hand. Like, you have to be very, like, this is what we're doing, this is how we're doing it, this is what you need to be doing as another person, without, like, let me explain it, let's go back and forth on it, let's, like, really make sure that you're comfortable with it. Like, no, please just do this right now, without asking any questions.
Yeah, the time for whys is over.
Yeah.
There was a point where I had to immediately say, Andrew, can I talk to you in the back hallway, please?
Oh, no.
Today. And it's not that he did something wrong, it's just that he thought he was being helpful when he was not being helpful. And I explained to him why we don't do what he had done.
Sure.
But I also 100% understand why he did it.
Sure.
Because Andrew is a very helpful person.
He's a good boy.
And also, when you say, hey, man, we don't do that, he gets it. He's like, okay.
Yeah. It's less of, like, that was bad decision-making and more you didn't know our policy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 100% what it was.
And making those things clear to someone. I mean, you know, that's your good managerial style, is being able to delineate those two different things.
I'm torn because I have a role for Andrew tomorrow, but I kind of want him in Sidekicks.
In the rubber Batman 89 Batman suit,
he's
waving to cars.
Never. That was during a sale.
It was during a sale.
It was
during the goddamn summer, too.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
One of my favorite memories.
It's fun stuff.
I
mean, it's topical
sorry.
now. Batman 89 just came out. And
I'm sorry that I have so many fond memories of things that were probably not fun for you.
Oh, I mean, I think I got stung by a bee at that point. So
well, I mean,
that was
you
less fun.
I don't remember that. But luckily for me, you forget a lot of stuff.
I do, and I mean, like, at the time, I'm sure it was miserable, but, like, looking back on it...
I don't mean, like, that specifically. I mean your whole career.
Oh, yeah, no. But, like, that one, I do remember that. That's why I made that reference and joke.
Sure.
But, like, I don't remember it, like, negatively.
I mean, and also...
If it was
you
traumatic,
were
the
great
trauma's
at it.
well gone now.
You did a great job, and it was, like...
You had to dress up like Batman and wave to cars.
Yeah.
What kid wouldn't want to do that?
You just couldn't turn your head.
Batman couldn't turn his head.
Right, sure.
I was in character.
Yeah. Just, you running down the block is such a fond memory.
I'm glad.
With your cape flapping behind you.
I'm glad. Batman had to go get cheese fries.
Great. Yeah.
I want that to be the title of this week's episode. Batman had to go get cheese fries.
It's already...
no.
I saved myself a lot of time and did a lot of work for it last night.
I rarely get to pick them.
This episode is called Carpet Diem.
Okay.
That's good.
It's good.
Come on.
It's good.
And the photo is the carpet.
Okay.
Because look, we got Rampage tonight.
We sure do.
And two...
the inaugural Rampage.
2 Brooklyn Nine-Nines, probably.
We do, yeah.
So I needed to get stuff done out of the way.
Sure.
Also, I didn't know what time I'd be getting home from this.
Sure, understood.
What else was I saying? Andrew, he's never worked a Free Comic Book Day, but a Free Comic Day comic is what got him into comics. Not on Free Comic Book Day, but still.
Oh, okay.
It is, and I would like him to see the...
Was it the Six Gun?
No, it was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Okay. That was like the first Free Comic Book Day comic, I think.
Was it?
I want to
no,
say.
not 20 years ago. It can't be.
I feel like it is. I mean, because the first Free Comic Book Day was the year after Spider-Man came out.
Yeah.
And Ultimate Spider-Man basically came out to coincide with...
Oh, I thought you said Six Gun. I thought you meant Six Gun was the first Free Comic Day comic.
No, that was a joke. But Ultimate Spider-Man was
no, that's fine.
Comic
Yeah,
Book Day
Sure. I thought you were talking about Six Gun. That's all.
No.
That's all.
Nope.
Oh, my goodness. So, I mean, everybody basically has the same tasks as always. We only have the one cosplayer, possibly a second one, but I doubt it.
Sure.
There's somebody else who was asking about costume stuff during the week, and I was going to say, hey, you can come down this weekend, but I just never got around to doing it.
Sure.
And it's just too little, too late.
Yeah, that's fair.
I also don't... Oh, did you know that there's a new episode of Ted Lasso on Apple TV?
I didn't. I heard it was the Christmas episode, and I also heard it was very good.
I heard it was great, but I also don't want to watch the Christmas episode in August. Anyway, the first two people in today bought Batman Urban Legend 6.
Okay.
Then we did call later for a guy who wanted 2 copies, and then he tried to buy everything else we had.
Great.
And everything else in his stack was exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah.
And I just thought...
all of the hot books for the week.
And all I could think of was there's so many hot Free Comic Day books, and we talked about it last week. And
basically, you got a list from a subscriber who wanted to hold all of them. It was like, literally the list was like, every hot book for Free Comic Book Day. Got it.
Yeah, and I saw him today being like, and you're going to have the gold and silver logo, or whatever, like the foil Batmans, or whatever, like the 1/100s, and like, absolutely not. That's not how that works.
No.
Yeah, subscriber lists where... you saw my reply.
Yeah, and I want to also point out that person is basically just down for bad idea stuff. So it's like, as a customer for Challengers, all they get are hot books. That's it. Like, they might as well have just signed up and said, just pull every hot book for me. Like, okay,
it's funny because the subscribers who went on Pullbox and added House of Slaughter, the majority of them do not get Something's Killing the Children.
Nope. Shocker.
So we pulled those 2 pages of stuff and filed them.
Okay.
And then we pulled Avengers, Spider-Man, and House of Slaughter.
Okay. Because those set up ongoing series.
Yeah. Batman is just reprints of
Figured.
next week's Batman.
Yeah, Fear State Alpha. Yeah.
And, no, Fear State Alpha is its own standalone book.
Is it? Oh, I thought that was the material that was going to be in the Free Comic Day.
No, it's Batman 112. It's Batman 112.
Oh, okay.
And then I Am Batman 0 from this week.
Okay.
That's it. So we didn't pull that for anybody who gets Batman.
Right. Because they'll get that material some other way.
I assume Red Room is reprints.
Sure.
Didn't pull that. So we just pulled those 3 titles.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Because Marvel stuff is usually new.
Did those get filed too, or just...
No, because those are put aside because we wanted to be like, hey, what if those people come in?
Right. Like, I definitely plan on checking some of those sheets to be like, oh, let's not pull it for so-and-so because they came in and got one.
Yeah. And then I cross-referenced anybody who was...
already down for
Avengers,
sheets.
but who already asked for Avengers separately.
Yeah, good idea.
So
Thanks.
cross that stuff off.
Appreciate that.
So those are just piled up.
Very
behind.
smart for your first Free Comic Book Day ever.
First
you're
one
really
ever.
Nailing it.
I have signs up at the front door of Challengers that says line up at that door. Sign up at that door that says line up here. Going to the left.
What I like best about this episode of Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast from Chicago, Illinois, is that all of this stuff for us hasn't happened yet, but literally everyone listening to this, it's already happened.
Yeah, even if you get the early version, it'll just have happened.
Anybody besides you or I who hears this is going to be like, Free Comic Book Day already happened. So I kind of always like the idea of people listening to this know whether or not it was a success or know things that happened during the event that haven't happened for us yet.
Yeah.
That's very fun to me.
Yeah, that's neat.
I like that. I think it's, I don't know, it's a fun way to think about it.
Earlier this week, we recorded 2 separate drop-ins.
Oh, yeah.
That I hope to figure out where to put in when we talk about those special things.
Sure.
I can't remember what the second one was now, to be honest. I know it was in the car.
Yeah, the second one was late at night driving back from the store.
Oh, right. Okay. Got it. Yep. Got it.
That one.
Yeah. So, our week, looking back at our week since the last episode was recorded. Last Saturday, I get to the store. There's a message from the carpet company basically changing our install date. And Samantha was working with me, and she watched my face just turn to stone. And then I called them back. And long story short was, we ordered the carpet, picked a day. That same day, the carpet company called back and said, hey, we're not going to have the carpet by then. Let's change your day. So we've already moved it once, okay? Then, a little bit later, we get a message from the carpet company saying, okay, your install date is good for, I don't know, Friday the 9th or whatever. And we're like, what? No, it's Monday the 2nd. Whatever, the dates are wrong, but they moved it from that Monday to a Friday. And we're like, no, you can't. We already have people coming in, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we're not going to get the carpet in time. So now we have our third date. They moved it twice. We have our third date. So we got a call during the week saying, hey, everything's good. The carpet's coming in. It's fine. Great. So this message was because the carpet came in, they never looked at it. And then when they did to prepare for the scheduled install and load the truck or whatever, they saw it's the wrong color. So they were calling us to say, hey, we don't have it. We have to change it again. And I flipped out. I started yelling, not screaming, yelling.
Raised voices.
Using a lot of profanity, which I do not do in those situations. And this pure affectation. We have a box full of packing material in the back hallway.
Just a cardboard box.
Yeah. I just started punching it, so it made this loud slamming noise. So the person on the phone, who, by the way, was exceptionally nice, wasn't responsible for this happening, and also not someone I talked to before.
Yeah, so this is someone who's coming to this process completely fresh.
Yeah.
Their job was just to call us and say, hey, there's a scheduled date. They didn't know any of the preceding changes.
Yeah. And I acknowledge, I said, I know this isn't your fault, but here's all the things, obviously swearing. And he's like, I'm real sorry. I didn't know any of that. Let me see what I can do. And this was like 11 a.m. last Saturday. Mm-hmm. So I said, basically, you have till noon to let me know what's happening. And I said outright, if I could cancel this whole thing, I would do it right now and go to somebody else.
Yep.
So like 20 minutes later, he calls back. He's like, we found the carpet somewhere else. It's actually a better grade than you bought, which, to be fair, we were willing to pay for the best grade possible for the store. They just said, this is the best we can do.
But then they had it someplace else.
Well, somebody else had it. They had to buy it from them.
Sure.
There was a danger of the carpet not getting done. Anyway, it obviously got done. This episode is called Carpet Diem, and you've all seen the social media posts, hopefully. So that is Saturday morning. Saturday, normal business, normal day of business, fine. Saturday night, you and I had a very important business meeting.
Oh, yeah.
For the future.
I was wondering why you were starting this on the story on Saturday, because I'm like, carpet didn't start till Sunday. Oh, that's right. Saturday night business dinner.
No, Saturday phone call. That was why I'm starting the story on.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a major happening.
That's true.
Yeah. And then Saturday night business dinner.
Yeah.
Sunday, well, we got to prepare for Monday's carpet.
Yeah.
So Dal works a normal day, and then...
And then also, Dal on Sunday ends up doing all of Dal's Sunday and Monday tasks.
Yeah.
Because Monday the store was going to be completely disassembled, including the computer, so nothing that I would normally do on a Monday was going to get done, so I needed to do all of it on Sunday ahead of time. And then, we closed at 5, and people were showing up to help us deconstruct the store so that everything in the actual sales floor portion of Challengers, that means not the back room, not the back hallway, not sidekicks, all that stuff stayed, but the sales floor part of Challengers, everything had to come off the floor.
So, first of all, huge thanks to Kent and Samantha, who are regular Challengers, who worked both days for us. Samantha also brought her sibling, Vex, and her partner, Steve. Those two both helped both days. And we had Drew and Ashleigh, who also worked both days, but who have helped us so many times.
And every construction project for the past, pandemic, I think. Drew
and Ashleigh hung the majority of the blinds we have up, because I started that process and then got hurt. Mm-hmm. So they did basically all of Challengers when I had just done sidekicks. Mm-hmm. And they also helped us build...
The back issue shelves.
The back issue shelves, yeah. And now they're back for 2 days in the heat, in the sweatness. Also... Keith and Margie Bingham helped both days and were amazing and are always too good to us. And Tad Eggleston also helped both days. So then with you and I there, that was our Sunday night crew.
Yep.
And as Del said, we had to get everything off the sales floor, and the lowest hanging shelves had to get moved as well.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this on the last podcast, but it's basically the 3 counters that we have, as well as everything inside those counters. Well, 3.5 counters.
Yeah, three counters in a cash wrap.
Yeah, an end cap. And and everything in those, all the computers, all the registers, all the subscriber boxes, All of the red
16
bookshelves.
red bookshelves, all filled with 5 levels of books themselves.
And then the end caps for those, which are our gaming and pop sections.
Then the 4 half-off bookshelves.
The 4 blue half-off bookshelves. The front tables and everything on them. The local section and everything in them.
The 7 back-issue racks.
Back-issue racks.
And all the boxes.
Racks, and again, the bottom shelves basically all the way around the store. All of that stuff had to come off of the sales floor and go somewhere in an environment where all the space is already pretty much taken up.
Yep.
So it was doing this Sunday night to install carpeting Monday. Like, even if the carpeting had taken up less space or whatever, like, we were in no position to run a store. So the store had to be closed Monday because everything was tucked away someplace else. In a garage, in a hallway, filling up sidekicks, wherever. Literally wherever we could fit stuff.
So Dal and I knew we were going to have to be there all day Monday. And we were waiting for some like shipments to come in on Monday as well.
Yeah.
So we had to leave ourselves a flat surface to work on. And also we'd saved all the free comic day books to be checked in.
Because we thought, I mean, we're going to be there for like a minimum of 3 hours, a maximum of like 9 hours. So that's a great time to work on free comic book day comics because they're giant boxes. And if you've got a few hours you need to fill, like that'll fill them up. This
was the first year I didn't check in free comic day books.
That's true.
And it was so disconcerting seeing them at the end of the day because, you know, I've seen little pictures and I ordered them but I don't remember what is coming out. I don't know what they look like. It's such a weird thing. Like, what is this? Mm-hmm. What is this book? Why do we have this?
Did you see that Fun Girl, the free comic day comic, which I think is marked as mature, maybe on the back, has sexual content in it?
Yeah, it's on the highest level.
Good. Yeah, like that and Red Room, I think, are the two for sure that are like absolutely not for kids.
They also had to
remove the Coke
stop
ad.
Printing to pull the Coke ad out because Coke didn't want it.
Coke was like, "We are not sponsoring this book. No, thank you."
Yeah. So we have all the kids' books are in the lower racks and around. Mm-hmm. Oh man! So this is a thing that I don't understand how it happened, and I wanted to hurt someone. Mm-hmm. We swapped out. Gina swapped out every 2 2-footers around the store with 4-footers.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Thanks.
It's like the thing you wanted to have done.
Sure.
But that changed how we could put shelves up on the cage. So we're building the cage, and the cage is too big.
Okay.
So what we had to do was, and the cage was designed for not moving the books, but the books were all moved.
Yeah.
So we just pulled one of the youngest, the Dogman book, and just moved it to the inside.
Okay.
So then we lost, we consciously lost a 2-foot section on each side. So it's 2 feet.
5 panels.
Right.
Instead of 6.
So that means everything wasn't even 2 foot.
Right.
So it became a game of Tetris as to how everything fits.
Sure. And
then right at that point, I got the bad idea phone call. So I had to go talk to Anthony, who, by the way, solved everything. Everything's fine.
Great.
He did a great job, and it was just, it's not even their issue, it's Bill.com's issue.
Yeah.
But he figured it all out. We did a screen share by Google.
Okay, great.
So it was Andrew who's putting all the shelves up. So then he comes out and he's like, we're missing 6 shelves. I'm like, there's no way we're missing 6 shelves. He's like,
if anything, we should have too many shelves.
There's just, because when we condensed down, we then used that end. So we didn't lose any space.
Okay.
We just, rather than just be all along the sides, it's these sides and this end.
Okay.
The problem, just so long story short, it's fun.
Okay, great.
But so that that's the exact number of shelves.
Right.
We were short shelves.
Unbelievable.
Found them.
Yeah, where were they?
Later in the day, they were stacked up on top of the back issues.
How did they get on top of the back issues?
I have no idea.
Because we unloaded into sidekicks.
Yes. I'm assuming that has something to do with the same way the knife disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm assuming maybe somebody who was...
Well, when Gina was switching out, maybe did she take some of the shelves she was switching out and just leave them on top of the back issues?
That's possible, too.
I'd assume that's more possible than, like, them moving all the way from sidekicks all the way to the back.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
I was willing to blame Kent, but it was probably Gina.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what we had done is we had gone up on the ladder and gotten more shelves down.
Oof, sorry.
It's like, oh, we didn't have to. And now these are just sitting in the back.
Yeah. All right.
Like, God.
Well, we got to go back to the storage space so they can just go back there, I guess.
Right.
Instead of going back up on the ladder.
The only thing we didn't switch out, and this is, I was going to ask you when you see it, what, like, all the single issue kids books.
Uh-huh. What about them?
Those are all in 2-footers.
Single issue kids
Inside kicks.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
That's fine what?
They can stay on 2-footers.
Okay.
I mean, you can switch them out if you want, but I don't think it's...
No, I'm asking you if you want to switch them out, because we have enough.
I wouldn't, because I think it's more important to be flexible about our space in sidekicks.
And also, we didn't change the shelves on the action figure wall for that same reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it being modular is more important for those sections. Like, the ones I'd want to switch out are, like, the comic wall and the new release wall, because 7 spaces is more important there.
And those are all done. And Gina did the pops.
Oh, cool.
And when she was doing it, she rearranged them all.
Great.
And they look great. I'm like, this look great.
That's awesome.
It's not going to stay that way.
No.
But she's like, I couldn't...
Who knows? Maybe we sell a ton this weekend and then we don't have to...
Because literally, when we were doing everything on Tuesday, and Margie had said, does the order matter? I go, nope, just get them on the shelf.
Who cares?
And then Gina's like, I can't, this is bothering me. I can't do it.
I get it.
So that's Monday night. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Sunday night. So Sunday night, we stay and empty the store, and everybody's great, and...
We got out of there way earlier than we thought.
Yeah, but still, long extra day.
Yeah, I mean, it was hours and hours of work, but, like, there was a version of it where it's like, I'm not going to get home till 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I got home a lot earlier than that, which is great.
Earlier, not a lot earlier.
I would say, I would go with a lot earlier.
If you say a lot earlier, it makes it sound like you didn't do any work.
I didn't do as much work as I thought I was going to have to, because everybody was so good.
Then Monday, Dal and I get to the store at 8 a.m. I was convinced the carpet was going to show up at noon.
Yeah, they said between 8 and 11 is when it was scheduled for.
They have to, and now because they didn't have the carpet, they had to go to whatever carpet factory had it and pick it up.
So Patrick's like, it's going to take them hours to go get it and bring it back. So they're not going to get it here until way later. They got there pretty early,
like 8:20.
Yeah. If we had shown up any later, we might have missed them.
Yeah. So we're there at 8 o'clock, and we're like, they start making great time. This is great. So this is a quick little on-site drop-in behind the scenes.
You're so quiet right now.
Well, I'm also masked too.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to make any sense.
I don't know. It is Monday afternoon, and we spent. I'm sure we'll have talked in detail, or we'll talk in detail.
Yeah.
But anyway, as we're doing this, they are working on the carpet.
Yeah.
And it looks
right
great.
As we speak.
It looks great.
It really does. It looks red.
It's a wonderful deep red. We love it. It was. We'll explain that later, but it wasn't. It's not the carpet we ordered, but it looks great. And these guys are doing a great job. And it's around
noon.
Oh, it's noon.
It's exactly
noon. It's noon. So it's coming along well. This is happening.
Yeah, Patrick didn't think they'd even be started by this point.
I did. I honestly thought
done.
because they had to pick up the carpet this morning. So yeah, I'm very pleased with how it's going. Everybody killed themselves last night helping us out,
and hopefully kill themselves again tonight.
Unfortunately, we have to ask them to do it again. Yes. So there you go. This is just a little snippet of real time
as it's happening.
They don't finish until 4.
Yeah, like there was a point at like noon where we're like, my God, they're going to be done in like an hour. Like, the early part, the tearing up the carpet part was dead simple for them.
Dal had already talked about how much work he and I were going to get done by ourselves before anybody else showed up to help.
Because we had told people who were going to be helping us out Monday night, like,
come at 5.
Plan at 5. Like, that's when we expect the carpeting will be done, not knowing when they were going to get started, how long it was going to take. But them starting so early was like, man, this is a breeze. Yeah, no, the last, like, the kind of dotting the I's and crossing the T's of carpet installation was like 3 hours.
Also, they were only carpeting the main floor, not the back room, nor sidekicks. Also, we had asked to get all new, I call it trim, they call it, I don't know.
Molding.
No, because molding is the small wood stuff.
Oh, okay.
It's a small, I forget the word, not bunting. Anyway, we were going to get all new vinyl molding around the store. So they show up, they're like, we don't have it. It's really hard to get red. Yeah, we know. So we ordered this like a month and a half in advance.
Yeah, you had a month and a half to order it.
Nope. So if they had to take up the existing molding and put the new stuff down, it would have taken them hours more.
The other thing that we had a problem with was it rains a lot in Chicago. It specifically floods a lot in Challengers because of how bad the exterior of the building is. It's built really stupidly, and it leaks constantly. One of the biggest problems we have is how much water seeps in under the front door of the store. It seeps in other places and leaks from the ceiling, but the front door gets it real bad. So bad that we were a little afraid of, like, they're going to take the carpet up and find a ton of mold, and they're not going to want to do the carpet now. Which, thankfully, they didn't. Like, they picked up the carpet, like, they tore it up. No problem.
It wasn't, like, there wasn't that much mold. It was fine.
Right.
There wasn't any mold. It was just dirty where it had been wet for 13 years. And also, it started to rain during the day, and I thought, man, if the water starts pouring in, they're going to be like, we're not doing this.
No, you can't lay carpet if it's wet and moist in the store. So one of the things we had talked to the carpet salesperson about was, hey, this is a problem we have. And they had said, okay, well,
hey, don't worry.
We've got a solution.
I'm going to have the guys build up an area right by the front door so water, it'll come in, but it won't keep going. It'll stop right there, and it won't affect the rest of it.
Yeah.
And he goes, they'll tear up the carpet, they'll build it up first so that can dry, and then they can go do the rest of the carpet.
Yeah, and we're like, that's amazing.
They didn't do any of that.
No.
Well, it turns out, upon calling the carpet company the next day to say, hey, what about these things?
Yeah, these things that we paid you for and are maybe itemized on our bill, no one did.
So they immediately gave us a refund for the molding, which was such a pittance amount that I'm like, there's no way if I call and just say, oh, can you install vinyl molding around this square foot area, that it's that cheap.
No. But since it's not itemized, it's hard to say, no, you charged us this amount. You basically said, here's all the things we're going to do, and then this is the grand total. So it's kind of on us for not getting everything broken out so that we could say later, this didn't happen, this amount comes back to us.
And then as far as the building up the floor thing, the guy that I was talking to about the bill was the same guy I had talked to the other time.
Which was nice because I overheard you talking to him and you were like, hey man, like, these are a couple of things we need to resolve, but first of all, like, the guys were great, they worked incredibly hard, everything got done, the carpet looks amazing. I'm sorry I swore at you, like, that was not how I usually do things, but I was real upset, and I hope you can understand that. Like, you were not, like, conciliatory, but you were very, like, hey, like, everything worked out, which was nice.
And again, like, the swearing was calculated.
Sure.
Like,
but you were also
I was pissed, but I was playing a part. I turned it on.
Sure.
And it got the results I wanted, and I hate that it did. But
it always does, and that's what we've always hated.
So see, here's the thing.
Because we've worked with people like that.
Because they moved the date numerous times.
Uh-huh.
And the first time it was, oh, okay, I totally understand. Sure, fine, great, thanks. The second time was, hey, I'm really not happy about this, but I understand. The third time is, no fucking way.
Yeah, we've already moved our people twice.
So I was escalating.
And we have a hard deadline.
I was escalating each time.
Yeah.
So when I'm like, hey, the guy, they didn't do the build-up thing, and he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, your salesman Paul said this, and he goes, oh my God, Paul doesn't understand. You don't do that for carpet. It's only for linoleum or vinyl flooring. I'm really sorry. That's not a thing that we would ever do for a carpeted floor.
Yeah.
But looking at the invoice, it wasn't like we were charged for it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but there doesn't seem to be a line item specifically for something that's like construction-oriented. So it was more just like, oh, he probably went to the carpet company and they went, well, we can't do that for carpeting, so we're not going to put that on the bill.
So several of our people who were helping out had called during the day to say, hey, what time? And I'm like, hey, how about 3?
Yeah.
Okay, now 3:30.
Because we thought at this point,
4.
Like, we were going to be like 1 or 2 o'clock. We're going to be, Patrick and I are going to have access to the store again, and we're going to start moving small things and things he and I can move together, and like the bottom shelves and stuff like that, the blue book shelves. So yeah, Benhur Caligulus ended up coming by early because we'd asked him to, and then by the time he got there, it's like, hey, they're definitely not done yet. Thanks for hanging out in here with us.
You got to hang out in the, inside case where there's no room.
Let's talk about,
like, if anybody needs to go to the back or something, everyone has to get up and move out of the way.
Let's talk about wrestling.
Yeah. So on Tuesday, aside from the same crew as Monday, we also had Benhur Caligulus, Felix Challenger, who that was the first time you and I worked with him.
Yeah.
He was great.
Yeah.
Andrew Challenger, briefly. Jackie, and then Erik.
Yeah.
Also helped.
Yeah.
So we had all those other people as well. So
Good crew.
Thanks to everybody who came.
Thanks, everybody.
And then it was just putting everything back, and there was some, people were getting, it was very hot and sweaty for those 2 days.
Sure.
And people were finding out, all the steps we took on Monday to keep things in order, somehow they're not in order. So it took a little bit longer. But we got it done.
Yeah.
And
a couple hiccups there at the end. We had some problems with our point of sale system, reconnecting it where basically, like, some of the devices, like the receipt printer, the pull display, and the cash register, even though they were basically disconnected Sunday night and then reconnected the exact same way Monday night.
Once you disconnect them...
I found this out Tuesday morning once a technician from Diamond had to remote into the system to fix it. Literally unplugging them from the system and replugging them in makes the computer forget what those devices are. It knows what kind of devices those are, but it doesn't know they're the same ones you unplugged.
So if it was possible to turn everything off and not unplug them, would they be okay?
No idea. I mean,
because we can't, because they had to get threaded through, drilled in holes, and blah, blah, blah.
And the thing is, like, we've rebooted the computer before and not had this problem.
Right.
So it might have literally been physically unplugging them from the computer and replugging them in.
But how would they know? Because the computer was turned off.
It's insane. And this is... I was the most unhelpful Monday night as everything was done, because people were just kind of hanging out at the end, waiting for us to say, like, hey, we're done, thanks for coming out. And I was just zoned in on this
Dal
problem.
got in his, no one talk to me, I need to fix this problem mode.
Because the explanation was so insane. I'm like, I gotta be doing something wrong.
Right.
There has to be a cable I've connected incorrectly, a cable that we're missing, some way that I can turn things off and on to a specific, like, on-off switches that can finally get it all working right and seeing each other correctly. And then, of course, finding out Tuesday morning, no, it's exactly the explanation that I thought was too stupid to be accurate.
Normally, I'm the only recipient of that aspect of Dal's laser focus. Mm-hmm. But when we have, like, 10 people in the store who are all there to help us, and it's like, okay.
It was basically people where I'm like, I can't
care about you at all.
I can't stop working on this because this is the last thing we have to do to go home for the night.
Yeah.
So basically, I've already been there for 12 hours. I want this to be done. Everything else was fine. Everything else is ready to open next day. But, like, half of our computer doesn't work now, and I don't know why, and I can't figure out why. And it's 8 o'clock on a Monday night, so who am I going to call about this?
So anyway, we let everybody go. We're like, all right, forget it. There's nothing we can do now. It just means we have to get in extra early on Tuesday.
Yeah, so I had to come in an hour early on Tuesday, because I sent a help
request to
Diamond saying this is what's going on. And thankfully, someone got back to me like Tuesday morning before I left home to say, can I remote into your system and take a look at it? And I'm like, I will be there in an hour. Like, can you do that then? And they said, sure. And thankfully, like, they remoted in. They ran whatever processes needed to be done to get the computer to re-recognize those devices. And then everything was fine. And it was like, this was great. This is the best possible solution.
So we're there earlier on Tuesday than normal.
Yeah. I mean, the other reason we were in early on Tuesday was because some of the shipments we were expecting on Monday did not show up.
Right. Sure. So we're there early on Tuesday and do all the Tuesday stuff. We got the Coke cooler showed up, so that was like an extra thing we weren't expecting. It came via freight and had to be unpacked and, you know, move everything around. Then it's like, oh, we're going to have to disassemble the tape station because it won't fit. Then realize, oh, it will fit. Let me reassemble that. Oh, I didn't tighten it enough. Let me disassemble and reassemble it. Fine. So Tuesday, the hours are open, normal stuff, fine. We're done. It's starting to rain a little bit. Oh no, actually it didn't. Whatever. We leave at a normal. Well,
we left it like a half an hour after the store closed.
Yeah, fairly.
Which is
normal
usually when we leave
Tuesday.
on a Tuesday, because Tuesdays are. It's harder to get everything done by 5 o'clock.
Around.
It used to be a couple years ago. We were lucky to get everything done by 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And now because we close at 5, it's like it's got to be done faster.
So we go home. 8 o'clock ish. Alarm company calls. Alarm's going off. The far south door.
The one behind the back issues.
Yeah. So I quickly remote into the camera. Can't see anything, but alarm's going off. And like if it's a motion detector in the store and none of the doors have been breached and nothing's on the camera, we just remote change the alarm.
Yeah,
and
like sometimes the window sensors can go off because of a loud noise in the neighborhood.
A rumbling truck or a backfire.
Yeah,
or
things where you can remote in and you're like, the window hasn't broken, so it's just something triggered the sensor. I mean, inside the store, we can set off the window brake sensor by folding a table too loudly.
Yeah. Also, perhaps a celebratory balloon lowers.
Who knows?
It sets off a motion detector.
A lot of things. But yeah, this one was weird because it was the door sensor had triggered, and it was the one again behind the back issue boxes, which is like, how would you? Huh?
Yeah, and we check the doors every night before we go. Anyway, It's like I'm going back to the store. And so, fine, we go back to the store.
Yeah.
Get to the store, check the door. I'm like, no, the door's locked. I don't know what's going on. Wait, let me push it again. Push it again, and it opens. I thought, so basically, the carpet guys are using that door all day Monday.
They were using the middle door, which is the one behind like the blue bookshelves, and also the one behind the back issues, which is the south one. They were. I saw them.
Did they?
Yeah. Because I had to lock it later in the day.
Oh, wow. Okay. Because there's no handle on that one on the outside.
They use it anyway. I think because they were doing, like, depending on where they're working in the store, they would just use different doors.
Wait, so you locked the middle door?
I locked the middle door. I didn't think to lock the back door.
Right. So the back door sticks anyway. Mm-hmm. So that's why when I pushed it, it didn't have any give.
Yep.
But long story short, that door had been unlocked for a full day.
Yes.
A day and a half.
Yes.
And I assumed it was somebody coming by just pulling on... Oh, you know what? Let me write this down now. 51 minutes in is when we have that drop in.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, here's another behind-the-scenes, recorded live as it happened snippet of our week. It is Tuesday night, and we are heading home from the store for the second time because the alarm went off in the thunderstorm, and we were lucky enough to get to the store just as everything started leaking all over the brand new carpet.
Yeah, it was one of those severe thunderstorms where water is pretty much all over the inside of the store. We had to take nearly everything that was in the western part of the store and bring it further east so that it did not get soaked.
It seems like the carpet people who were using the southernmost door, and that door sticks, when they were cleaning everything up, they never locked it. And when we checked the doors at night, we give them a little push, and that door didn't have any give because of how much it sticks. So my guess is that somebody was walking by just yanking on doors like they normally do at about 8 p.m. on a Tuesday night, setting the alarm off. So we rushed back to the store, and everything's fine, like nobody broke in.
Well, yeah, no one broke in. Not everything's fine.
But everything is fine in regards to the alarm going off. That was false alarm. Not a false alarm, but, nobody was in the store.
Yeah, there wasn't a break-in. The window didn't break.
Like, that's what we're never even worried when they say, oh, the south door, like, you can't get in. There's a wall of back issues in front of that door. But you could still break it. Anyway, they didn't. So once we got there, we're like, oh, it's raining. Let's see how it is. Oh, everything's fine now. Wait, it's slowly starting. And it happens.
Yeah.
So one more letter to landlords. Super fun time. We were excited to not be at the store at 8 p.m. for the third night in a row, but that changed. Because Dow and I did a little update as we were
driving
away, and I'm like, I bet someone pulled on the door. No one pulled on the door. We actually got an Instagram message from somebody saying, hey, I was
not
walking...
Not a customer, just some guy.
Someone who lives in the area saying, I was walking my dog and I saw the wind tear your door open. Or it was him. He pulled it open.
His dog did it. So
anyway, while we're there, it starts pouring. And what happens at Challengers when it starts pouring?
It starts leaking inside the store.
It's leaking inside the store. So luckily we were there, so we were like, all right, so we pull everything out of the windows.
Yeah.
Like we've had to do numerous times before.
Yep.
So we pull things out, cover things with tarps, et cetera, et cetera. So that means Wednesday morning, we got to come in extra early to rebuild the store.
Put everything back. Everything along the west wall of the building, all those windows, the front table with the graphic novels, everything on the blue bookshelves, everything on the back issue shelves, all that stuff has to get moved
everything is
inside the store.
Yeah. So we're there extra time on Wednesday. And by the way, our DC books, I'm sure you know this by now because of all our postings and emails and things. Our DC books, when do DC books on sale? When are they on sale every week?
Tuesday.
They're on sale for Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We didn't get them until
1 p.m. on Wednesday.
1 p.m. on Wednesday. It's definitely because Lunar has never had to deal with Free Comic Day before, and all the DC Free Comic Day books, 4 of them, 4 different Free Comic Day books. Diamond would have held them to 2.
Yeah, and on top of that, Diamond got us all of our Free Comic Book Day books
a month ago?
A month before Free Comic Book Day, while DC and Lunar scheduled the Free Comic Book Day shipments for the week of Free Comic Book Day, which is ridiculous. Like
3 days before.
Yeah, we don't even get that many Free Comic Book Day comics relative to some other stores.
Yeah.
So the idea of, like, imagine if cases of comics for Free
Like,
Comic
if
Book
you
Day.
get
You didn't
pallets
get until
delivered.
the week of. And
Yeah.
if you're like the kind of store that does like an outdoor tent of all this stuff, to basically have everything ready to go, have everything ready for setup, except for DC, like, that's dumb. That's a dumb way to do it. So I don't know if it was Lunar's fault or DC's fault, but this was a stupid way to do Free Comic Book Day, and it definitely shows that Diamond did not have, like, organizational control over this aspect of it. Because Diamond figured this stuff out years ago. I'm not saying Diamond didn't used to do it this way once upon a time, but they figured it out over the years
Yeah.
as Free Comic Book Day got bigger and bigger for the
And the
industry.
people that work for DC Comics should know that that is a thing.
Well, but that's the thing. Most of the people who know that don't work there anymore.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, that's one of the problems with firing so many people with, like, knowledge of the industry, is that the people who are replacing them don't think of that and don't think to do that. They go, okay, well, Free Comic Book Day is that Saturday, so the books will go in the shipment for that week. That way they can't leak or whatever, which is probably not anything I thought of, because DC released those books digitally the Wednesday before, I think.
Yeah, and all the DC stuff is reprints.
Yeah.
Nothing is new.
Nothing could leak. What's the point?
So those came in Wednesday. We were there early on Wednesday. We got to leave normal time Wednesday.
That was nice.
Fine. Normal day.
Yeah.
Thursday is the day we had to go out to Glendale Heights to restock our supplies, because we needed supplies in stock for Free Comic Book Day and to have things ready. And also because our supply company doesn't do delivery anymore, and shipping boxes and boards is really not cost effective.
No.
Every couple of months or so, we try to go out there and load up and make it worthwhile.
Yeah.
And then we also had to go to the storage locker to get all the grid and the shelves that we would need to build everything for Free Comic Book Day. Mm-hmm. Things that used to be for some rumored other store. Someone said we once had. I don't remember what that is about.
We only had the one store, Challengers.
Yeah, you're right. And while we were at Southern Hobby getting supplies, literally as you're trying to understand what a guy at a dock is telling you, and I'm trying to figure out if I have to back up onto the ramp or not, Kent calls like, yeah, there's a guy here to talk about the windows right now. Like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
So Thursday, prep. Just storage lockers, delivery, loading, unloading, getting all of the wire racks from the second floor storage unit to the car. It's like they just melted together. They just merged.
Yeah, because of all the hooks on them and stuff, they just get tangled up. The part of the day I almost completely lost at Kent was so the first part of the day was hours of going out to Glendale Heights, loading the car up with all these supplies, driving them back to the city, unloading all that stuff into the store, dealing with shipments that had come in while we were out, and helping customers. And then, as I'm waiting for you to be ready to go, Kent's like, so what you got going on today? Anything fun? We just did a 4-hour trip, and we're just about to do another 2 hours. Anything fun? No, I'm working all day.
You were pretty mad at that.
I was so mad at that, because it was just we just had to do this whole thing, and that we're unbelievable.
I forgot to mention that we had a Coke delivery
Yeah.
show up on Monday right when we just started putting everything back
Of course.
into the store. And all that has to go somewhere as well. 72 cases of Coke.
Mm-hmm. Because we're giving out, or we have, I guess, by the point people are listening to this, have given out cans of Coke, because Coke was a sponsor of Free Comic Book Day this year, and they picked a few locations in the United States to be, extra recipients of Coke's benevolence.
Coke. Well, they know that we're both big Coke drinkers.
Diet Coke, but they didn't give us any of that.
That's true.
So yeah, we had
Coke Zero over here.
We
Thank you.
We have a cooler, and we had cases of Coke Classic and Coke Zero Sugar, and we gave that out to anybody who wanted one as they were leaving the store on Saturday.
These tenses are so weird.
Yeah, it's for us. Yeah, we're about to do it. But yeah, by the point people listening to this, that's why we have the cooler. A few people commented on it on Wednesday, oh, you got a new Coke cooler.
Yeah, we do.
And that's not going to hang around. But I'm like, that's for I don't
know. I like it there.
For a promotion we're having this Saturday. I mean, it's not something we were married to, as far as that's where that lives now, and that's going to be there forever. Like, if you wanted to start carrying soda, you just get cans. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
It doesn't take up a ton of space. I like the red of it. Like, that was one of the things we liked about the old Coke cooler, was it was red. So it was like, it fits the store. And this one's small enough where it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we had talked about it before as just like, you weren't even going to use it for Free Comic Book Day. You were like...
Well, I mean, we're still technically not.
This is a hassle.
It's just there and plugged in. We still... I filled up our tub.
Did you? Okay.
We just need to stop and get, like, 5 bags of ice.
Okay. So can people take it from the cooler in front?
Sure.
Okay.
They can, but they also take it from outside.
Okay.
Preferably take it from outside first to get rid of that stuff.
Sure.
That's just the backup.
Okay.
Whatever. But yeah, for sure. For sure. But yeah, because I obviously the wet ice is as you're leaving the store.
Right. Well, I mean, either one was going to be for as you were leaving the store. Like, the cooler is like, hey, on your way out, you're welcome to grab a can of Coke from the cooler.
And so that was Thursday, and then you just heard about Friday from me, basically, which it took about an hour longer today to get everything set up.
Yeah.
Realistically, I should have had you come in, but I didn't want to. I mean, you needed a day off.
I would have done it.
I know you would have.
Sure.
But I bet you enjoyed today as well.
Yeah, it was okay.
Just because I don't get one. Why should you?
I didn't have anything big I was working on.
That's not the point.
Okay.
I mean, that is the point. You just needed a day for nothing.
Okay.
But also, I don't know, like, tomorrow, after it's all said and done, I guess we have to immediately put all the racks back in my car, because there is nowhere for them. There is nowhere for them.
Can they go in the garage?
I mean, there'll be 2 cars in the garage tomorrow.
But once, someone leaves.
Yeah.
Like, there won't be those, like, we could just as easily do it, like, Tuesday night and not have to worry about it.
In theory.
Just saying. Like, there are options.
Yeah. They all suck.
They do. I mean, a lot of it is, it's not worth planning it out now because you'll feel away Saturday night and that'll determine whether or not it's worth it to go to the storage space or put it off for a couple days.
Just that I'm busy all day Sunday.
I wasn't going to say we would do it Sunday. Tuesday,
well,
Tuesday
I was saying I
it.
might have to do it Sunday. I wasn't thinking. I mean Monday. No, because Saturday. I don't know what day it is. Who knows?
Yeah.
Just to get it out of the way, because they will bug the shit out of me being there.
I don't know. I think being in the garage, we've had stuff in there the last few days.
Also, they're going to be a lot harder to fit in the storage locker because it's twice as many.
Yeah, well,
the 4-footers stood on end,
but they're 2 feet, so it should be easier to get on the cart. It should be easier to get
true.
up the.
So all of that, but it doesn't stop for you, Dal.
No.
Here's why.
Why, Patrick?
Monday they're coming to do the window banners.
Yes.
And I printed out a form and put it by the clipboard.
Thanks, man.
But also, like those, we didn't finish taking down the alley signs or the ones in Sidekicks.
Right.
So they'll have to do that and then really clean some of those windows.
I think they're going to have to clean all of them anyway.
Right,
but if you're putting stuff up, you're going to have to clean every window.
But there's so far 3 that have a lot worse.
Sure.
You have to deal with that on Monday.
Okay.
Sunday, and it was supposed to be tomorrow, but I'm like, not tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some contractors coming to work on the exterior of the building.
Okay.
And to address our window concerns.
I hope they can do it.
Well, I talked to the guy for a while today, and he seems to be a very smart man, and he basically all the water that's coming in is coming from inside the masonry. It's getting in somewhere,
sure.
And it's not draining the way it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And all of the things I had suggested, like awnings or caulking, are terrible ideas. Because basically it'll just keep...
It's like collecting above that point.
Yeah, and then if we caulk it, then it's like it's going to just build up.
Yeah.
So here's what they're going to do. The front door to Sidekicks and the front door to Challengers are getting new thresholds that have a gap in the front to block the water coming in.
Ooh.
B, the doors are getting a small little flashing angle.
Okay.
To stop the water coming right into the door.
Sure.
So it's like a little teeny
a little lip, a little...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the water will not come into the open door.
A bill, I guess you'd call it. Right?
Yeah,
like
sure.
On a cap.
And then they're going to work on trying to install flashing all along the windows.
Okay.
And to see what else they can do. They're going to get there well before 11 on Sunday.
Okay.
But all their work is outside.
Yeah.
The only thing they're going to need to do when you're open is the 2 thresholds.
Sure.
So you have to open the door to sidekicks for him.
Yeah.
And then he said the first thing they'll do, like immediately when you get there, they'll do the main door threshold so they don't interfere with customers.
That's cool. Well, I mean, they'll just have to prop it open and like someone might have to say, excuse me, and then step over them or whatever.
Yeah. But the guy's like, so you open at 11, you get here, what, 10:30? No, 11.
Yeah. Somewhere between 10:58 and 11:03.
Yeah.
If we open at 11.
The only thing I might need you to do is, because we talked about everything, and I brought him inside and I showed him where everything was, and he just looked up, he's like, oh, that girder. There's nothing you can do from the inside to that. And I showed him how it's like starting to sag in the alley window.
Yeah.
So while we talked about everything he was doing, like he never really said specifically about the alley window. So if you could just be like
what are we doing back there?
Yeah.
Just
that's
touch
all.
on it, sure.
So everything he said is like, man, and I gave him the history of the building and how it was done, and I showed him the string that's built in, and if you look up, it's all through the brick. He's like, yeah, and that is supposed to take all the moisture out and bring it down, but they didn't. They're supposed to also install flashing every couple of layers to keep it from going, like, just to run off the building, not into the building.
Right.
And they didn't do that. So there's nothing we can do up above it, but we're going to try and do flashing all along your windows.
That's cool.
But the problem is the moisture's getting in from
the level above.
Well, no, just all the way up. Because he's looking at the deck. Because I'm like, yeah, they said the deck is a problem, blah, blah. He's like, that's just a concrete slab. Water's not getting in through there. And he goes, and if you look, like, water gets in all the way down. There's no deck there. There's no deck there.
Is this flashing also going to help the staining that we're getting on our signage from that deck?
I don't know.
I'll ask maybe.
But I mean, like
because that's a separate but possibly related problem of the way water runs off.
Yeah, but that's the deck area. Like the staining from the white sign is just the sun.
You can see the one.
The wind. Oh, you mean the window?
The windows directly below the deck, where it's like the water collects in the middle and then shoots straight down.
Yeah.
And you can tell, like, when we had the old graffiti film on there, you could see exactly where it was because
you can still see that with the new one.
That 1 foot wide section went all the way up to the deck. So maybe I'll bring that up and be like, is this going to solve that? And if he's like, no, then that could maybe be a thing where eventually we go to Larimar and say, can we get something underneath that deck that like shoots out a little bit?
Yeah.
So it doesn't just, when there's melting snow, running water, people watering their plants.
When we were outside looking up at the white sign, like that sign is never coming off that window. They might just have to vinyl over it.
Maybe they just chip away at it.
Yeah.
With like an ice scraper.
So like he seemed like he absolutely knows what he's talking about.
I hope
he also seems like he understands fully what the problem is.
I hope he does.
Because he walked in and he goes, oh, I can see it's leaking there. There I go, yeah, now just multiply that through literally every window in the store. He just went, oh man.
Yeah. As always, these are problems that could have been solved 14 years ago, but they weren't, so we had to deal with them.
Yep. So that'll be your fun Sunday and Monday stuff.
That's cool.
And that takes us to where we are now, and there have been other things in the comic book industry that have happened this week.
Yeah, stuff we really meant to talk about this week.
And things that people really want our take on, but we're not going to give it to you right now.
Sorry, busy week.
And we will get back to it next week. And I'm sure... let me just say right now, I think it's great that Tim Drake was able to finally come out as bisexual.
Sure.
And I hope that he's...
Tim Drake was my Robin. This doesn't change it at all.
Yeah, right. For all of the retailers that are complaining and, my back issues will never sell, somebody had a great line. Another retailer just said, he's still straight in all those back issues. Although technically not. He's buying all those back issues.
Technically, he was always bi.
Life is a journey, and you're constantly discovering things about yourself. For example, up until the year of 2014, I didn't know I could grow a beard. I thought I couldn't.
You really thought you couldn't grow a beard?
I thought it was just too patchy, and it would be ugly. But then I just got lazy and let it grow and went, oh my god, this beard is great. I was denying the world this beard all this time.
The couple of times that you've had to shave it off for one reason or another, you've instantly
regretted it. Instantly.
And then been like, it's going to take months before it's good again.
Right. So I learned that about myself, in my 40s.
Sure.
You discover things about yourself all the time.
Yeah.
And that is how human beings evolve and grow.
Why wouldn't you want to read a story about a character learning something new about themselves?
Something that makes them happy as well.
Why would you not want to read that?
How does that ruin it? Like, if... I hate to keep using this, but if Captain America learned that, oh my goodness, I hate people from India, that's a bad thing to discover.
Yeah.
But also...
That would definitely be a negative.
Yeah.
But if you learn, like, oh man, I never knew I liked calzones. It's like, wow, Cap likes calzones now.
Yeah, and just think how happy he's going to be every time he has calzone.
Cap zones.
So, I think it's absolutely fine. I hate the fact that people are buying that book just because of that.
Yeah, but it's always something.
It is. It really is.
You and I have been around long enough. Remember Alpha Flight and North Star?
Yeah.
How big a deal was that book when that issue released?
Oh, man.
I was going to say came out, but that was...
I was on, I think it was Ed Till's show. Ed Till on WLS later in the evening. I was on as a comic representative talking about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you declare that North Star was the 5th gay member of Alpha Flight, but the first out gay member of Alpha Flight?
Well, I mean...
Just to get people speculating?
No, I didn't. Okay. I didn't. I was going to make a joke.
North Star was the only one brave enough.
I was going to make a joke that is just dumb, so I won't.
Okay.
But, no. So, yeah, great. You know what? You know what I think? You know what I actually think? I think the vast majority of superheroes are bi.
Sure, okay.
Some of them may have not realized it. Some of them, we haven't been told those stories because that's not the stories that we're reading about. You know?
Yeah, it's just a story somebody hasn't told yet.
I mean, we all learned it about Jean Grey and Cyclops and Wolverine.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
So it's fine. And also, you, listener, if you are gay or bi or trans or none of those things, that's all great too. The thing that unites us is comics.
It's true.
Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.